If you hate your job, do this. Welcome to Financial Conversations with Brian. Before we get started, this is a new channel and I'm really trying to grow this thing, so please hit the like button and subscribe. What I want to get into today is if you hate your job, do this. And stick with me to the end of the video, please. Don't just watch a few 30 seconds and click off, or stick with me. The first thing I want you to do is get you like a composition notebook or a spreadsheet on the computer, whatever, and start to write down in a column what you like about your job and what you dislike about your job. And it's very important that you be very honest with yourself. I mean, every detail. If you think the pay is too low, if you've been reprimanded for something you feel is unjust, whatever, write it down. All the pros, all the cons, and be very sincerely honest with yourself. And then the next thing, you're going to use that list I want it to be the motivation for you. Post it somewhere, stick it somewhere. It might sound ridiculous, but put it somewhere where you can see it every single day. On your refrigerator or at your office desk, wherever. Somewhere where you see it every single day, because it's going to be the motivation for you to take action. If this list, I want to say this real quick, if the list that you come up with, if you do not dislike your job enough, you won't have the motivation. You're not going to have the motivation to pull through with getting out of your situation. You're going to have to try to find, what I would start with, because it's the easiest, is just try to find every single expense to either lower or eliminate. Eliminate some things completely. Like, if you're really motivated, you can do this. Even if it's just one thing per day. Because I know our time is limited and sometimes we don't have a lot of time. But if you're really upset about your situation, then just keep at it as hard as you can. Find ways to lower your cell phone bill. Ways to lower your power bill, water bill, rent situation. Some of this stuff may not happen. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time to work through. And you do need to realize that. I mean, everybody's in a different situation. Some people have more assets than others to work with in that situation. But even if you don't have anything, even if you're near broke, you still need to keep moving forward, because if you don't, nothing is going to change. And I mean absolutely nothing is going to change. You have to be the one that changes to be able to get to where you want to get. Now, once you have your motivation, nothing can stop you. Don't let anything deter you. I mean, literally, like I said before, go down line by line. All your expenses. Do I have to have this? Is there an alternative? Is there something else I can put in this place? And you have to be honest with yourself. It's just something, like for me, I know my personal weakness is I like to eat out. You know, and a lot of frugal people won't do that. Now, I do use coupons and apps and stuff like that to make it cheaper to eat out a lot of times. And buy one, get one meals, that type of thing. A lot of these apps really give you a lot of little perks, especially when you first sign up for them. Check into that if eating out is one of your things. I think for most Americans it is. Then I want you to look around your house and see what you've got that you don't need anymore. Something you can sell. And you need to be very, very honest with this. You have to just look around and say, can I put this on eBay? Can I put this on Facebook Marketplace? What selling platforms are in my local area where I can sell something and take that money and pay something off? If you have debt, try to get it paid off. Because here's the problem. A lot of times when people go to find another job or something, you got it in your mind that the next job I go to, it needs to pay more or the same. And I'm not saying that's a bad idea. I mean, obviously, if you can do better and find something that pays better, okay. But even with a new job prospect, do this same thing. Talk to people who work there and start a list on that prospective place to work. The pros, the cons. Like, I don't like to get up real early in the morning. I mean, I worked a job for a long time where I was up at 4 in the morning. And that got old really quick, and it was swing shift. Anyway, I'm going on a little rant there, but wherever you're thinking about going, you also need to think about the pros and the cons. Now, in my lifetime, and I'm 50 years old, what I have noticed is a lot of the jobs that were most enjoyable to me were the ones that didn't pay as much. They didn't expect as much. And you had a little bit more freedom and flexibility, and there was less stress involved. So if you find yourself in that situation where you want less stress and the job that you really want might pay a couple dollars less an hour than what you're getting, then cutting the expense is going to be very important. Your housing. I've got my cup of coffee here. Your housing is a big expense. Rent, if you have that. All your utilities. I just want you to think of every single time that you find an alternative and lower an expense, it's one step closer to where you want to be. And if you're not motivated enough to do those things, to lower your expenses, or to find a side hustle to make extra money, side hustles today, when I was in my 20s, I remember thinking, and in my early 30s, I thought, man, if I could just make an extra $100, $200 a month, it would be a game changer. Well, in that day and time, we didn't have the smartphone. We didn't have all these apps. If you wanted a side hustle, it meant something like mowing yards in your neighborhood, or if you're a woman or a guy, whatever, babysitting kids, traditional type of side hustles. Today we've got apps. I mean, I've got one on here. It's called Field Agent, where you can mystery shop and make an extra money. I mean, I can do one mystery shop and it'd pay for my cell phone bill, or cover some other expense. 2, 3. You got DoorDash, all these different ones. I mean, there's so many. You just get on YouTube and type in side hustles and see what pops up. Side hustle apps, whatever, money-making apps. You will be surprised how many are out there. And if you could just come up with a couple $100 a month on a side hustle and use that money to either pay down an expense, pay down a debt, it's all about cash flow. How much money is coming in versus how much is going out. It's that simple. It's very simple, but it's your behavior is what makes it hard. I heard Dave Ramsey say one time that personal finance is only 20% head knowledge and 80% behavior. So your behavior determines how successful you're going to be in your personal finance for the most part. Yes, you do want to be financially literate, and the best thing for that is just pick up financial books and read and educate yourself. You will learn more by doing that than you would in any college setting. I guarantee it. And another thing, if you're in a job that you absolutely hate, this is from the Christian's perspective. You need to pray for those. If you got somebody in your workplace that you feel is against you, you need to pray for them. Seriously. It's the best thing that you can do, is pray for that person. If somebody's wronged you, pray for them. And don't try to get revenge. Leave that to the Lord. Scripture, that's scripturally. Leave it to Him if somebody's doing you wrong. That's a real hard thing to do, isn't it? But you must do that. Because if you go down to their level, then you're going to reap the same things that they get. Another thing I would do other than side hustles was, just get out there and look. I mean, with the internet today, job searches are, they're everywhere. I mean, it's all kinds of different sites. Indeed, Monster, I don't know. There's so many different ones. Just find something that is more fitting to what you want to do if you absolutely hate it. And today, I think I've said this before, but working from home, that is one of the easiest ways to cut out transportation. Which, by the way, in an average budget, transportation is probably about 18 to 20%. In some cases more, if somebody has a real high car payment. I mean, that's a big chunk. That is a big chunk of your budget. So, if you found a work from home job, let's say it paid even $1 less an hour than what you're getting paid now, but you're able to eliminate 20% of your expense, that's a no-brainer. I mean, there's all kinds of, Walmart Plus, you can get your groceries delivered to your house. And you just pay that one time $50 or $100, depending on if you qualify, to get groceries delivered to your house. And you don't have to pay. What I use when I calculate mileage is the same thing that the IRS gives you, which is 65 cents per mile. And they factor everything in there, gas, wear and tear on your car, that type of thing. And I guarantee you, if they're giving you 65, it's probably even higher. But that's the number that I use. Anyway, I didn't mean to rant too much. I just think you ought to really write down your pros and your cons and use it to motivate yourself. You have to find the motivation. Because if you're not motivated enough, like I said, you don't hate it enough. And then if you don't hate it enough, then you really need to get over whatever it is and just keep pressing forward in what you're doing. But anyway, that's it for today. Like I said, please hit the like button and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Trying to grow this channel and create a new stream. The other thing I like is multiple streams of income. And I do have several of those, and I want to make YouTube one of those as well. So it doesn't cost anything. Please subscribe and help me out. I would appreciate it, and I will see you guys on the next one.